everyone. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me. This is a general reading for March the 26th, 2021. Okay, let's get started. Okay, wow. Just pulling the cards and putting them into place and having a look and feeling the energy from the last few readings and feeling the energy from this reading already. It's going to be very interesting. Okay? Wow. Okay, I need a moment. Just give me a second. Okay. I needed a minute to read this and feel it. It's quite a story to tell. Okay, I don't know what just happened, but I was doing my thing and all of a sudden I looked at the camera and it was turned off. So it was on, so I'm not sure what happened here. But it kind of goes with the theme of this reading. Just wait to hear what the rest of the story here. So I'm going to have to recap just in case the other video didn't record. Okay, so right now you find yourself in a situation where you are facing something you perceive as it's going to be a conflict, and that in this conflict you're going to have to make some sort of mental choice. You're going to have to make a stand. You're going to have to take a position, and you're being challenged by the fact that you don't know what position to take. This challenge I'm feeling has something to do with a relationship. Maybe not a romantic, but certainly could be romantic. But I don't know. It could be any kind of interaction you have with another person. It's some kind of relationship. Could be with a family member, could be with your partner, could be with a child, could be a parent. It could be any relationship, could be a coworker, could be a business partner. Go through them. Start thinking, this is your present. So if you're listening to this and it's resonating, you already know what I'm talking about. So you've already gone through every scenario you can think of on how this conflict is going to play out. Okay. And as a result, you have almost overwhelmed yourself. You've not almost overwhelmed yourself. You have overwhelmed yourself by all the possibilities that lay ahead of you. Okay, you've completely overwhelmed yourself. So as a result, you're actually, the fact that you're not sure what to go for, that's creating the massive block for you right now and sort of preventing this timeline from just going ahead. But I think it's coming regardless, but you definitely perceive conflict coming, and you're definitely resisting that conflict because you're not sure what to go for in the end. It might not just be a black and white situation. It might be, but I'm sort of getting the sense that it's a limitless sea of possibilities versus one person or one experience or one thing or one job. Like it's almost like you have a basket full of possibilities, or better yet, I had my bowl out tonight. You have a bowl that's empty and ready to fill with whatever you want versus one thing. So this is where you're at. Okay. You're in a place where you have a basket that you're ready to fill up with new life, but there's this one thing left that's holding this whole thing back. This is a Tibetan singing bowl in the key for your root chakra. And I did feel guided to have it for tonight's reading, which is a perfect time to mention that the sort of overall mood that you're sitting in right now is the Queen of Cups. And this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. You are sitting in Queen of Cups energy, okay? And I'm giggling because that's a beautiful energy to be sitting in. Look at this. Like you are ready to fill this beautiful cup up with your psychic and with your empathic abilities. You are ready to go. You feel you're feeling it, right? Like it's ready. And there is something blocking you, which is the fact that there's this conflict. Something's got to end If you watch the reading for March 25th, you see that we talked a lot about things coming to an end, and all the readings actually have been bringing this energy forward, and it makes sense. You're the Queen of Cups. You're ready to get in there with your empathic and psychic abilities to serve others. And yet you're a paradox. Like the Queen of Cups is such a mysterious archetype in the sense that she has all of these powers, and yet she can't dip one toe into the ocean, because if she does, it will completely overwhelm her, which is exactly what your challenge is. These cards are always related. The crossing card and the card at the base of the matter are always linked. And these are definitely linked. You're completely overwhelmed because you're the Queen of Cups. You can't put one toe into the ocean. You have to sit at the shore, right? And her cup is typically closed, but I love that in this picture it's open, right? In other images it's closed, whereas the King of Cups, his cup is open, but sometimes it can be interpreted that his cup is full and her cup is empty because she's ready to receive, right? Like she's the feminine, so she has the bowl. Just like, it's so funny that I felt like bringing my singing bowl in tonight. And the base of the matter, and this is in the key of the root chakra. Should we listen? Do you want to hear? I'll just give you a gong. It's beautiful. I love it. And it resonates in my head all day. It's beautiful. If you don't have a singing bowl, you should think about it. They're amazing. Oh, feels hot. That's amazing. Anyway, we definitely have the Queen of Cups energy here. I'm just going to place her right there, right next to her cup, right next to your cup, you Queen of Cups. Okay, now what do we have going on here for past influences? For past influences, we have the Seven of Cups coming up. So the Seven of Cups is also a time where you were overwhelmed by all the options. So you're feeling overwhelmed because you've been in situations like this recently, okay? Or maybe in the distant past, but I'm getting the sense that it was recent. So it's all fresh for you. This is all very fresh. And, sorry, I got distracted because I was thinking about the Moon card yesterday in the March 25th reading. The Moon card, again, very strong feminine energy. In the past, you have felt overwhelmed when you embrace your feminine energy. Okay, so that is another reason why it's creating a blockage for you, because you are a very feminine energy, and you're going to, in the future, be very challenged by the idea of being the magician. And the magician is ultimately an archetype that has mastered all the elements. You're very Queen of Cups energy. So for you, conflict, which is the swords energy, right? And that kind of energy is one that is difficult for you because it's very masculine and it's very mental. It's the air signs. Those are hard for you. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius are tricky for you because you're a feeler. You feel things, man. And so it's tricky for you. And when you get into the Pentacles energy, which is very rooted in Mother Earth, it's also a feminine energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, but it's also very rooted in Mother Earth, where you're very like, you're sort of living in the upper chakras. You're living in the throat, third eye, and crown heart chakra. You're living in there. Like you do have, like I'm getting this, this message of your root chakra is your heart chakra. You root to this place through your love, through empathy, through your heart, and you connect so deeply through your heart that, you know, the idea of mastering your other feminine Mother Earth qualities are tricky for you. It's tricky for you. The wand energy is also an interesting one for you because it can sometimes be too intense for you to be around. That's Aries, Leo, Sag. So my guess, my dear, is that you are a Pisces, Scorpio, or Cancer, or you're rising in those three signs. Whoever I'm talking to here. You've got some action in Pisces, Scorpio, or Cancer for sure. something rising, something sun sign, you know, and the wand energy is masculine, and it sort of can, I feel like it's sometimes when you encounter that, and because you're such a high level empath, it can be too overwhelming, just like the sword energy can be too overwhelming, right? And I always get the sense that people that root down to the earth through their heart chakra, they have a hard time with people that are really, really, really rooted to the earth through things like money, or things like being really ambitious and competitive, and you know, accumulating wealth and stuff. That can be hard for you to understand. Like, you want to, you invite abundance into your life, but in a different, it feels different for you, even though it's not a judgment. It just feels like your sense of belonging is different than other people, because you're just different. You know, we all have different gifts, and your gift is definitely rooted in your empathic abilities, and you feel people. Like, when you're around people, you feel what they feel. You feel what their intention is. Sometimes you might even be able to feel their intention, not just what they're feeling, but why they're feeling that way. And so that's why you have to stay on the shoreline. It's tricky for you to go into the water. So that the Magician in reverse in the future isn't really a surprise. It just means that that's going to be your challenge when you, on your journey of self-mastery, where you will master all four elements, but it's going to be a journey for you, because you're really cup. You're very, that's you, you know, that is your energy. You are an emotional empath. You feel love and compassion in their true form. You possess the yin energy, which is summertime, and your path to spirit is through the emotions. So it's tricky for you to be present in the water like the King of Cups. You know what I mean? Okay, beautiful. Now, when we dive into the next part of the reading, what do we see? We see that right now you're in a state where you're kind of tired. You're overwhelmed. You need rest. And this energy came up in the reading for the 25th we got the Hermit in reverse. So the fact that it's upright tells me that you are taking a mental rest. You know, but I the caution I'm getting for you because of the Hermit in reverse yesterday is just that make sure that in your mental rest that you're resting, not hiding, not beating yourself up, not beating up mentally on anyone else, and that if you are, you know, in a place where you're starting to contemplate things, that the thing to ask yourself is always, what is this experience teaching me about myself, right? What is this experience teaching me about myself? And if you feel your ego pulling you down the road of, well, why is that person like this? And why did they have to speak to me that way? And what's their problem? And why do I attract these kind of people into my life? You know, it's just, those questions aren't going to actually get you out of a place where you feel so exhausted and overwhelmed. You know, the question to ask yourself is, what is this teaching you about you? You know, who are you in this moment? Whatever this conflict is that you're resisting, which, you know, yesterday it was a really strong inner conflict, and it is still today, because yesterday it was the Ace of Swords, and it's the Ace of Swords again, but yesterday it was in reverse. So that tells me, if it's gone from reverse to not reverse, that maybe you're going to not resist it as much. But then there is a mental resistance present still because of the position of the Five of Wands reversed. So you are still resisting things in the mental sense, but it's happening, like it's coming. The conflict is coming, and you're tired. You're tired. You're overwhelmed and you're tired. So get some rest, because other people see your abilities, but they see them as challenged. So whoever is in your life that sees your outer sort of projection that you put out into the world, they're seeing you as having, like, all of this potential and all of this like vision, but that it's challenged because I think they see that, you know, you're struggling to reach something. The Queen of Cups, probably. They see your journey. So they're seeing that you have all this potential to like unleash all of this creative expression into the world, but that it's a challenge for you right now. And the people in your life see it. The people in your life, you're projecting that into the outer world. So it's less important that the people in your life see it. What's more important to take away from this is that the projection you're putting out into the universe right now is that I'm challenged. I'm having a hard time with expressing my passion. I'm having a hard time expressing my true flame. I'm having a hard time expressing my vision. I'm having a hard time being fiery. I'm not being impulsive. I'm not generating change. So that's why I'm saying when you're in this state where you're taking a rest, don't be too hard on yourself. Don't be hard on yourself at all. Being hard on yourself it's just going to create suffering where you don't like, it's not necessary suffering. It's just suffering. Suffering's never really necessary. You just got to see that whatever this conflict is, you can do it, and stop worrying about all the possibilities and just be. Don't try to figure out the how. Don't worry about how it's going to work out. Just do your part in it. You know, with love and compassion, do your part in it, and don't worry about the how. The universe will always take care of the how for you. Now, when we get to hopes and fears, it's interesting. We have the Chariot in reversed. So again, your biggest hope and fear is like, it's the Chariot, but it's challenged. So it's like you're hoping and fearing for this kind of energy, and it's challenging your whole vibe. It's challenging your whole vibe. So I really think the takeaway from this reading so far is you've got to change your perception. You've got to work on your mental perception of everything. You are the Queen of Cups, but it's time to walk down the path of the scary swords. I say the scary swords because I would imagine for an empath that the most difficult thing to do would be to learn about the self through conflict and mental anguish, because empaths feel things really deeply. And my empathic abilities have always made the Suit of Swords the spooky suit for me. And it's always the one I get. I mean, whenever I do readings for myself in any sort of challenge situation, it's always for me the Pentacles and the Swords, which is interesting. One of each, you know? I feel you. I really feel you, but you can do it. You just need to nest. I always call it nesting. You need to nest. Hermit energy, right? You need to nest. You need to go into the nest, but don't go into the nest in judgment. You got to go into the nest feeling like you're really loving yourself, regardless of what's going on, and that you realize everything is just a lesson designed to teach you who you are. So for the final outcome, we find the Emperor. Now, this is very interesting. When you add this to the reading as the final outcome, it really sheds some perspective on the conflict. The conflict that you are going to face has to do with some father figure in your life. It could be your actual father, it could be your partner, it could be your boss, it could be something that you've attached the meaning of father figure to, and it's just like, maybe it's an experience like a job or something that you do that you've attached very strong meaning to the point where you see it as like the Emperor, you know? And so it really does bring up the vibe of confrontation. The Emperor card to me is always, I always think about, oh no, am I going to have an argument with my dad? Because that's the vibe of this card. And so that is the final outcome, and it's not in reverse. So that means you're going to do it. Good for you. You're not going to resist it. Good for you. You know, if I had to guess what this is, let's say if I'm reading for a person right now who is really considering making a shift from something that they're currently doing and going down a spiritual path that they feel very drawn to. Queen of Cups. So if that's the case, then there's definitely going to be some kind of, in this reading, it's saying that there's going to be a situation where there will be conflict, where this person is going to have to stand up for themselves in a mental choice. Involve a separation, could just involve standing their ground. And initially it's going to be a challenge. We can see that in the Five of Wands reversal. It is going to feel, the conflict will be a challenge for this individual because of all of the outcomes that are possible. When we see the Nine of Cups, this person does not know what to wish for as an outcome, other than the fact that they just want to express themselves. They just want to be themselves. They just want to be able to be free mentally to be themselves. Now, other people see that you have gifts, and other people see that you want to express yourself, but other people also see that you are challenged by that. You, on the other hand, feel very overwhelmed and quite exhausted, and also very concerned that you will misguide the chariot. That once it does come, if it comes in your mind, sometimes you wonder, will you be able to do it? Will you be able to handle it? Will you be up for it? And the final outcome says that you will have the confrontation with the individual that you are facing down this sort of conflict with. You are going to be able to do it. And it's interesting because one extra card came out. It's the Nine of Swords. Okay? This card sends shivers up my spine because I know this card and how it feels. So I think this extra card came out to just emphasize the level of anxiety that you may have about this situation. There is some high level fear about whatever's going on, and it could be a deterrent for you. You're really feeling the feelings of it, which isn't a surprise considering who you are. Of course you're feeling the feelings of it, and it's causing you a lot of anxiety, and you're really worried about the future. You've got to get out of the mindset about thinking about the future. I think this card came out to clarify that this is a key for you. This is a key for you. You've got to take this key and see it as something telling you, hey, get out of the thinking about the future. Thinking about all of the possibilities overwhelms you. Don't do it. Try really hard not to think about the future right now. Just focus on the present and the moment you're in, because that's heavy enough right now. You've got stuff going on here that needs your attention. And the more you think about and worry about the future, no, it's not going to serve you. It's really not going to serve you. It's going to work against you, in fact, because you won't have the rest you need. We see that you need rest. And if you don't take that opportunity to rest in a clear-headed way where you can reflect about yourself, like that hermit energy that we were talking about, who knows? Who knows what could happen? So, it's all for your learning. Nothing's going to be catastrophic, but you might lose control and say something you regret. We're talking about a father figure that you're going to have this confrontation with. So you probably want to be ready for this, right? So I'm going to put this Nine of Swords here right next to the Queen of Cups to remind you that when it's time, don't think about the future. Try and just stay focused on the current situation. Okay. Take the time you need because you're pooped. So take the time to rest. The projection of yourself that you're putting out into the universe right now is that you're challenged to express your passion. So if that could inadvertently become the wish. So if you focus on things, that's what the universe hears, right? Like that is the version of yourself that you're portraying outwardly, is that I am having a hard time expressing my passion because in the past I was overwhelmed. In the present, I'm overwhelmed, and I'm worrying about the future, right? And so that's not, that dynamic isn't serving you, and there's a big conflict on its way that you need to be ready to go for, okay? So let's get some clarification on the father figure. I would like to know more about the Emperor, please. Let's get some clarification on that final outcome card. The Fool. Fascinating. Okay, so the final outcome card clarifying is the Fool. So it's all about self-discovery. It's the journey. So you know what? The Emperor confrontation you could be facing could be an inner conflict. The biggest emperor in your life could be you, which is actually like, I'm speechless right now because that makes sense. It is an inner conflict with the Ace of Swords, right? And it is the Nine of Swords that you're sitting in, which makes sense. And you're also feeling the Four of Swords. It's all mental. This is an inner conflict, guys. This isn't about necessarily a relationship with any other person. This is about you and you. Holy moly, what a twist. What a twist at the end of the game here. Maybe you saw it with all the swords, but I was certainly feeling like you were going to have a confrontation with your partner or your family about the shift in your life you want to make. Maybe that's it too, but the fact that the Fool's here also throws on the table that this conflict is between you and you. Boom, like whoa, explode wide open. That is wild business. Now, can we get, I would like clarification on that Five of Wands in reversal. Is this inner conflict for real? Are you battling yourself? Yeah. Wow. We got the Death card and the Page of Swords. Yes, you are battling yourself. It couldn't be more clear. It really couldn't. You are totally battling yourself. This is between you and you. This is an inner conflict. Inner conflict. Death card is all about renewal and change. You're freaked out. It's you that's freaked out. You're the father figure. Whoa, you guys, whoa. You know, I love these. The way Spirit's been talking to us lately is so clear, and it's so clear. Wow. Yeah, this is between you and you. You gotta sit. That's why we keep getting the Hermit card. That's why we keep getting cards like that. The Hanged Man, the Four of Swords. We keep getting this advice that you need to go into that cosmic egg. You need to go back into yourself and discover some truth about yourself and make some decisions despite what meaning you've attached to some of these things that you're going to let go of. You just have to let go of these things and accept that it's all about the journey. And that just because you let go of something that you had attached meaning as strong as the Emperor, you attached meaning to maybe your career and said, without this career, I'm not me anymore. Well, maybe you're someone else. You're on the journey. Maybe you're the Queen of Cups, right? And you're just so worried about the future. I want to give you a big hug. I want to hug you and say, don't worry so much. It's going to be okay. Let's go paint. Let's go for a walk. Let's get your mind thinking about something else, because when you're left alone, man, you're really holding a lot of worry. And like, look at this. You've got the Magician in reverse. You've got the Chariot in reverse. Those two archetypes in reverse, and yet the only one that's not reversed is the Queen of Cups. So like, you feel challenged here, you feel challenged here, but you feel super duper confident as the Queen of Cups. So be her, run with it, have the talk you need to have with yourself and eliminate what needs to go. Don't worry so much about the future or the past that made you feel overwhelmed. You know, it's okay that there's lots of possibilities. You don't need to say how it has to happen. You just have to know what You are. And you feel the vibe of the Queen of Cups. The learning about the self, when you're the Fool and you're on the journey and you're learning about yourself through the Suit of Cups as an empath, it's tricky. And when things start to say, oh, here comes conflict, I'm the Page of Swords, I'm going to bring something in that's going to cause conflict, it is terrifying for us because it usually involves something having to go. And you're an empath, so you feel things. So when that thing comes up and it's got to go, there you are struggling with yourself, and there you are exhausted because you overwhelmed yourself, and everyone can see it, that you're exhausted and you've overwhelmed yourself. And so, take it or leave it. But it seems like the advice is pretty clear. I'm going to lay these out again, but I liked putting them on the bowl here for you to see. So I'll lay them out here again and take the picture for you, but that was fun. I liked telling the story that way for you. Now, my friends, I'm not done with you yet. I'm going to give you some words of encouragement that will hopefully help carry you through this situation that you're in, which you're going to be fine. You're going to do it. You're going to do it. You're going to confront yourself on all of the beliefs that you have involving whatever it is that you really want to do, the way you want to express yourself. And you're going to realize that you're actually the person who defines what these things mean in your mind. Okay? You're the person writing the script. So flip it. Flip the script. Change it up. It doesn't mean what you think it means, maybe. Like I was saying in the March 25th reading, it might not be loss. It could just be redirection, right? And it's perceived loss. There's no such thing as loss is loss. It's all perception. If you don't perceive it as loss, it's not a loss. It's redirection or it's opportunity. Why is it a challenge? Maybe it's an opportunity. You know what I mean? So, wow. Okay, now I want to get more words of encouragement for you because while I was preparing for you tonight, 2 decks really were calling out to me. So you're going to get a word of encouragement from each on top of the tarot. Okay. Clearing. Okay, clearing. So you got to purify here. Clearing is a message that suggests that, again, it's that hermit energy. It's that nesting energy. It's you being with you and understanding who you are. Okay, so we got clearing. So clearing, let me read to you the message of clearing from this oracle. It says, my energy, both inside and out, is mine to take care of and be responsible for. Throughout the day, it becomes very important for the empath. You are an empath. That's so funny. This is the empath oracle, and it was one of the decks that I was like, I have to use this tonight. And turns out you're the Queen of Cups, so it makes sense. Throughout the day, it becomes very important for the empath to clear the energies that pick up as they walk their earthly path. Of course, walking on the earth is hard for you. You feel everything. Just like the burr, negative thoughts, words, and emotional projections can get stuck in our auric field and be experienced as overall heaviness. Of course, you get overwhelmed. That's why you have to stay at the shore. Different cultures throughout the ages have discovered tools that can be used to cleanse negative energies from our systems. Examples are shells, feathers, sacred plants in loose form, or bundles called smudge sticks, sometimes called smudging. Of course, you've heard of smudging, I hope. If not, you should look into it. You're going to need some of this clearing to help you out. The smudging practice, when done correctly, can be very effective. Please do look into the proper practices. And if you're going to smudge with sage, make sure that it's been sourced ethically. You can always find out when you purchase it if it was sourced ethically or not. It is a sacred plant. Oh, it mentions it right here. Smoke from sacred plants such as white sage, palo santo, cedar, and or juniper are burned and fanned throughout the auric field to clear the denser negative energies. Because smoke is lighter than air, these heavier energies are captured and moved up and out. This practice can be used to clear one's home or to create a sacred space. Using the same concept, attaining a higher vibration being the goal, a skillful empath can also simply use a feather to catch the denser energies and release them with the knowing that the feathers are what allows birds to soar in the wind. The meditation question here for you is, have I cleansed myself today? Is my space clearing of negative energy? Would cleansing my physical, emotional, and mental self bring a new perspective about this situation? Does something need to be cleared out of my life in order to make it lighter? I mean, really, you can apply it in so many ways, because we are talking about rebirth and coming into your passion. But we're also talking about taking care of yourself in the more physical body, like your physical body and your energetic body. So, you know, that could be some really practical advice from Spirit, you know. Okay, one more. This was the other deck. This is the Autumn Sky deck I love for words of encouragement. So let's see what we got. Oh my goodness. Did you see that? That was wild, wild stuff. Wow. Okay. All right. So this is the card we got out of that craziness. It was the only one turned right side up. Excuse me. Okay. So the card says, I'll show you the image. It's so beautiful. I love her art so much. There. That's nice. Okay. It says clarity. Be your own healer. Honor the passing of time and the wisdom it bestows. Accept earthly mortality. Celebrate immortal spirit. Connect to the land. I mean, the words of encouragement we get together, you guys, are always so beautiful. They always really go with each other, because Spirit is truly guiding me here. And it's just beautiful, the messages we're getting. So I'm going to photograph this spread for you so that you can reflect on it. And, you know, take care. Don't worry about the future. Try and just believe that whatever you wish is possible. And if you don't know what to wish, then just be grateful for all the abundance you have already. That was a nice reading. I'm very happy to offer this to you. I hope it was helpful. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. And I will see you tomorrow for another reading. And you take care and have a wonderful rest of the day, or whenever you get to watch this video. Okay, take care.